Okay, we got a little analysis with Josh paired up with Freddie Freeman here, favorite player. Let's watch them one time through and then break it down a little bit. Good things there, and then Freddie's already in slow motion. I'll try to speed it up here a little bit. Okay, let's get him back to the starting position and then work from the ground up, talking about the stance, the load. Josh does a good job here. Let's make sure I'm back at the starting position. There we go. Let's see. Freddie, front foot facing forward. Josh is a little flared out as kind of a product of his slightly closed stance. No issues there at all. Let's talk about the bat angle and the load position here. I will say we do have a decent amount of head movement. Not as bad as some of the other ones I've seen at this age group, but if you look at the position of his head starting here throughout the load, he does kind of move that. Whereas when you look at Freddie's, you won't even see barely any movement at all in the head until he starts advancing towards the ball after that front foot lands at the load. So something that we'll want to talk about with all the kids, I think, as we go throughout. But when you look at the load, that's always in the launch position, rather. That's when that front heel lands. Whereas our bat, we would like to see it at a 45. If I were to draw a picture frame directly above the helmet, that's kind of where we would like to see it. And if we look at Freddie, as his front heel lands here, right there, that's kind of where you see his. Some guys you'll see straight up and down vertical, but somewhere in this range is where we want to be. And then knob of his bat is facing down towards the catchers. And because Josh's bat gets a little flat, his is more out and away. If you also look at the position of the shoulders, Freddie's got his back shoulder, a little bit higher than his front, whereas Josh is somewhat the opposite of that. And that's more of a, let's maintain the launch position, trust our hands, keep those back. And then, the idea behind that is power, but it's also enabling Freddie to, if you watch his top hand palm, from that position, he just works that up and into the zone. So his bat's now in the zone the entire time. So that's kind of the thought process there. And then Josh, when that front heel lands, I will say that I would like to see a little bit more separation and beginning of the swing with that knee. The hands and the knee are kind of stacked over a little bit there. But if you look over at Freddie, when he starts the swing, see where his hand position is versus that back knee, huge separation there. And that's just a product of starting the swing with that back knee heading down towards, pinching down towards the plate, creating that back hip drive that we want to see. Josh does look like he kind of hangs on that backside a little bit and then kind of spins on that backside. So again, that's just a product of keeping those hands back and creating that separation so we can really drive those hips directly towards the pitcher. Josh does a really good job, though, of keeping the barrel in the zone and really extending that top hand down the line, something that we worked on, kind of creating that path where the inside part of the batter's box is, creating that path where that top hand just follows down that line as long as we possibly can. That's actually something that Freddie Freeman has talked about in a couple of videos I've watched. But when you look here, obviously he does a phenomenal job of that as well. So they finishing position-wise, they're quite similar. Really, really good stuff there. But if you will notice, not that we focus on getting up on that back toe, but it's a product of driving those hips and really getting everything into it. Whereas you see Josh kind of falling back on that a little earlier than I would like to see. All in all, a lot of good things though. Keep up the good work. We'll work on getting some more back hip drive, do some drills with that, and then staying connected and things like that. So a lot of good things. Good work, Josh.